Welcome back to another episode of Business Weekly with your girl, your drip strategist, your boss methodologist, and your hostess with the mostest, your girl, Miss J. Right here on I am always checking in, providing platforms, helping people to grow right here each week on Business Weekly on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. We're here for part three. I've had a dynamic year, I have to say it. I'm thinking about it. This is now my 12th month. I started Business Weekly in January of 2025 after I converted from community conversations right here on Love Bay, and they gave me an amazing opportunity to come in to just continuously talk about what I love, and that's business. It's about developing businesses, building models, operations, systems, and strategies. And when I started the show, I started asking myself really and truthfully, what did I want to put across? And I think I achieved, for the most part, all of the goals, and that was to bring experts onto the show who can share, who we can have some real conversations with, and to help you to grow into your own empire. Now, if you don't know and you do know, I want you to know that I thank you for being here. Thank you for being my audience. Thank you for listening to me week in, week out. I know there's a long way to go on my journey to reaching more and more people, but I'm not going to stop. Why? Because DRIP, Drive, Resilience, Innovation, and Progression, is who I am. And the boss is what I do. Now, in part one, we uncovered the cost of silence. This is part of a three-part trilogy of Be in the Room. I've had the honor and adulation of one of my closest friends, Lauren Morrison, coming on with me for the past 2+ weeks, to be honest, just talking and talking about how to show up. And that, is my mantra, show up and show out, right? And in part one, we uncovered the cost of silence. What happens when you don't speak up? In part two, we explored the experience cube. Now, I came with my own definition of it, but Lauren's own is better. She really broke down the framework of a courageous conversation, how to use it. Today, I actually want to pick up on how she used it to save her marriage. So stay tuned for that. And after we get that amazing story, it leads into the spotlight of the leadership mirror. What you bring to the room. Now, before you speak and you start to strategize how to utilize all the gems that you've heard on this show, I want you to remember you have to lead before you arrive, okay? And so at the end of the day, it all comes down to what are they, dear Miss J? I like to take as any letters that I've been getting and coming in or emails that have been sent. I call them letters, but it's really emails. But that are coming, I try to pair it to the show as much as possible. And so today, when we talk about how to take responsibility for what shows up on your behalf and how to shift it so it works for you instead of against you. So we're going to start with our Dear Miss J letter. The letter reads, let's just hope I put up here. There we go. I recently stepped into a senior leadership role, and for the first time, I feel like the room reacts to me before I even speak. Some people seem intimidated, others seem overly agreeable, a few seem guarded. I've been told I have a strong presence, but now I'm wondering if my presence is shaping the room more than the work we're trying to do. How do I know what I'm bringing into the room, and how do I adjust without losing who I am as a leader? Sign unintentionally intense. I know I have silent but stressed. They're not silent but stressed. I just didn't get a chance to update that part. Well, dear unintentionally intense, first, congratulations. You're stepping into a senior leadership role. That's no small milestone. I remember I worked a lot of years to get into management in my past job, and it was very rewarding because why not? It's a milestone that you look to reach, and when you compete and you get it, it's a real experience. But with elevation comes a new awareness that you are no longer just in the room, you are shaping the room, right? So let's look at your situation through what? My DRIP framework. So let's start with D, drive. Ask yourself, what's driving your presence? Ask yourself that. What's driving my presence? Is it confidence? Is it anxiety? Is it perfectionism? Is it protection? Right? Yeah, hold on to that. I'm sure you're going to hear a little bit more about that later. But your drive determines your energy, and your energy sets the tone. So remind yourself that when you walk in, what are you bringing? Now, a lot of people, they have a little bit of stress when it comes to that because especially if you're being promoted within, it's different when you walk in to a company and your management versus when you're promoted within. you struggle with a little bit of that balance there, right? You struggle with how do you turn from colleague to boss. Well, let's go to R, resilience. Your past experiences, your wins and your wounds, they're going to follow you into the room. So you have to allow yourself or recognize which experiences are serving your leadership and which ones are showing up as unnecessary armor. Are you too defensive? Are you having history with people that you're bringing into your leadership role? Leadership resilience means that you're recognizing this. So I want you to take a step back and ask yourself, when someone talks to me, am I taking it in the right way? Am I using my experiences to serve me better in leadership? Let's talk about innovation. That's the I. Presence can be redesigned. I want you to know this. This is where you get to experiment with your communication style, your emotional range, and the signals that you send intentionally and creatively. Okay? It's all up to you. When you were talking at a different level, it might have been now it has to be a little bit more, right? But you can really intentionally still be a great leader if you're coming from within the ranks. And if you're coming from outside the ranks, it's about understanding the culture of leadership and then being intentional and creative in creating the space that serves you best. And last, our progression tip. Leadership is a journey of refinement. Nobody is born, you know what people say, he's a born leader? That means naturally he has or she has the ability to lead. But every part of the journey requires refinement, right? I've led probably, I'm going to say 29 out of 30, or no, 30 out of 32 years in my career. And that's because at a very early age, I was put into a small management role. As I look back through my journey, I recognize how much I grew into leadership, right? I grew into understanding that there were certain things I could or could not say. There were things that I brought to the table. There were times I had to just close my mouth. There were times I had to. And I remember one supervisor before I became a supervisor, I remember one of my supervisors telling me, like, you got to know when to shut up in a room. Sometimes you got to learn how to listen before you speak. And that is what we call refinement. You start thinking about not changing who you are, but how to evolve, how you show up so that your impact aligns with your intention. If your intention is to lead a great team, then you have to figure out, are you a person that feels the greatness within it? So it's not because you're too intense. It's not that you're coming off of that energy, but you may be unaware that of the echo you create when you enter. And in today's episode, we're going to help you with exactly that. All right. So I want to thank you for writing in. I want you continue sending me emails, continue sending me DMs. I'm going to try to cover as much of them as I can and to find people to have that conversation so that you can take the gems and apply them to your day-to-day life, whether you're in a career or whether you're in a business. So how do we go about that? Well, we're talking about the leadership mirror, what brings you into the room. Every leader has a story running in the background, whether it's confidence, whether it's doubt, expectation, or survival mode. And people can feel it. People can feel it before they can name it, right? So you have to have that emotional signature piece. You got to think about what energy do you walk in with? Are you calm, tense, urgent? Are you assured? Do you walk in with openness and control? The signature speaks louder than your words. All right. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be discussing today. And with that being said, I'm bringing on an amazing individual who's been really honing her craft in this for years. As long as I've known her, she has been in the streets, honey, taking leadership to the next level. She's been in corporate leadership most of her life. I remember when she first started out making cakes, and then she powered out on one of the biggest corporate giants in the world. And the things that she's going to bring to us is going to help us to not only recognize the cost of silence, not only utilize the experience cube, but today she's going to wrap it up with a beautiful bow on how you can take your leadership to the next level with her book, Be in the Room. Please welcome to the show, Lauren Morrison.
Hey,
Hey, Chiki, how are ya?
right on cue. How are you?
Right on cue.
Look at how buttons work.
I'm right. Let me tell you right now. Oh my god, this hair's in my face. And because I'm in the thing, I'm trying to fix it, but I keep pushing it the wrong way. So there we go. I can see now. I can see now. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing well.
It's one of
Yeah.
those. Are you in the
Yeah,
December burnout phase? Because that's where
I'm
I
in
am.
I'm not even December burnout. It's like December, like, what did I do? What is next?
Mm,
It's
I know what's
that
next.
I think it's that messy middle around, like, you've proven all that you did all the things that you wanted to do in
Right?
2026, and you're at the end of that, and then you've built the foundation for what you want to happen in, or whatever, 2025. You built the
Yeah.
foundation for
I
what you
felt you.
want to
I
happen
felt
in 2026, but like you're in that middle part where you're just like, I'm at the end of this, I'm at the beginning of
at the
this,
beginning of it. Yeah.
and
It's
this,
like that roller coaster when you go up
yeah,
and then you
yeah,
just
yeah.
hang for that second, and then it's like you're
That's
like,
something. I'm just like hanging, just like
yeah,
hanging, being like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna have fun? Like,
I'm gonna die.
don't know.
That's good. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, so
No, but I
that's the big
definitely
sigh. Am I gonna die or am I gonna have fun? I'm not too sure.
right. Let me tell you, I said to I always know when I'm at that point. I said to my husband because we just came back from our anniversary trip, and I said to my husband, I don't know if I should go away at the beginning of December anymore because when I come back, like I'm totally checked out, like I'm ready for my downtime, right?
It's
And
over.
so this is me in my sessions with people.
Yeah,
Yes, whatever you decide is amazing.
sure.
Sure, you just go ahead and sign that deal off.
Leaning into the, what do you think?
what do you? What is your drip telling you?
And that probably
Right?
makes you a way more powerful coach because you have no agenda. You're just like,
None
just
whatsoever.
you're
None.
gonna do
I'm just
whatever
like,
you
is
want to
that
do.
cash flow finished? No? Well, we'll tackle that in 2026, shall we?
Exactly.
No, I
Yeah.
feel
So
you.
that's
I
that's
feel you.
that's where I am. I'm in that messy middle phase.
Yeah.
Excited, but also being like something needs to shift soon because
Mhm.
I put in the groundwork. So
Let me tell you what needs to shift. Me and some assistants. I need to get me some assistants. Like,
yeah.
oh my God. I sat down with my production team the other day and I said, listen, guys, I just want to show up now, clip the mic on me, and call it a day. I don't want to see a cat. I don't want to press play. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to show up. And that's that boss girl era that we were in for so long in our jobs, right? Like we had so much support, and then now you're on your own as a business, business boss, and you're just like, what? I have to send that email.
I gotta press this button. Someone come press this button. I have come too far in my career. I have
I mean,
proven myself too far to press this button.
I'm trying to find
Finally
somebody.
qualify. Someone else come press this button.
Right? Oh man, I tell you. Let's jump in because we can go here all day, people. Go and I can laugh all day for no apparent reason. But this actually lead into what we're talking about, right? We talked
Yeah.
about, that three-part series. Today we're talking about leadership. And I think one of the things that I really saw through this conversation, and I want to thank you. I love talking to powerful women who understand the story, understands the situation, because the real talk happens. And I want if you're on here, we're not good at sugarcoating stuff. Like we're just not good at it. We've been through these journeys, we've been there, and we're quiet about it. Like a lot of people don't realize the depth of how much hours I've coached or how much, you know, hours you've been doing, leadership and leading massive teams and big contracts. Sometimes we don't talk about it. And I think today we have to talk about it. We have to talk about why the leadership mirror is so important in being in the room. Open up with your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it was actually interesting because I remember the first thing where we left off last time, where I talked about the experience cube and like how that saved my marriage, and you're like, how?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
it kind of was like a good lead in because I don't know if you've known me for a while, Josette, but I just historically do believe that I'm always right. This is just a core belief of mine. I'm
Just
always
a
right.
small belief system she has.
Always right. The reason why I'm always right is because when I have a thought, an opinion, I back it up with the data. I back it up with the facts, right? why I say the experience cube saved my marriage is because what it helped me to see is that the facts have an interpretation that is separate from someone else's interpretation. You know, silly
Facts.
example, but a relatable example.
Really.
One of my biggest things, and I remember calling you crying. One of my biggest things was, you know, me and my husband both, you know, successful in our careers, both leaders, both signed up to raise two small children to have
You did
kids.
that.
And I just remember being like, just taking on so much of like the housework, you know? So like, let's just even say there's dishes in the sink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I look at those dishes and I'm like, he doesn't love me.
What was that wedding for? The
Okay?
lies, the
The
lies.
dishes are in the sink. He doesn't love me. That's the thought. And it's backed up by facts. Because the fact is that the dishes are in the sink. I have said time and time again that when someone steps in and washes dishes, that it makes me feel loved because it makes me feel like they're taking up the load, et cetera, et cetera. But you left dishes in the sink, ergo, you don't love
There
me.
you go. Henceforth.
Ergo, case
Therefore.
closed. What more is there to talk about? The only thing you can say to me is, I'm sorry, Lauren, I'm going to wash dishes, right? But all that to say is that what it introduced to me was that, again, that there are facts, there are dirty dishes in the sink, and yet my interpretation of those dirty dishes and his interpretation of those dirty dishes are completely different.
Yes.
And with that level of understanding of like, I'm not always, it's not a matter of I'm always have a perspective. I have a thought.
Right.
I have my interpretation. And now when I bring that over into like thinking about the leadership mission, the leadership mirror, it is that, and going back to even your CEO letter, of this sense of, and I love how you broke it down with the drip, right? Like going back to the drive, you know what I mean? Like in that situation, like what drives me? What drives me is my desire to be right. my desire to say my point and have someone be like, I have nothing on that. You got it. You got me, Lauren.
What can we say here?
I got nothing.
Right again. When does the doubt stop?
But it's that drive to have the answers. Yeah. It's that drive to be right. And especially when we ascend into leadership, now we have people looking to us. We have people reporting into us. Mm-hmm. That weight of feeling like you need to have the answers, you need to be right, mm-hmm. is so much heavier. Yeah. So that right there can drive a lot of that presence in the room, mm-hmm. that overpowering presence in the room. 100%. To put, going back to your letter, to kind of say like, you know, I go in there, but because I have that drive, I dominate the conversation. I walk in with an agenda. I tell people this is how it's going to go. This is what we're doing. This is what's next. Any questions? No. Okay. I guess we're good. Talk soon. Doors always open, right? Like that's
the token lines that win.
The door's always open.
The token lines. We really want to hear what you have to say. No, we don't. But yeah.
And that is the biggest miss. That's the biggest miss mm-hmm. for leaders is the separation between impact and intention, yes. Right? And sometimes when we don't ask ourselves that question around what is our intention, we can just show up based on our preferences, our drive, our personality, our ego. And then we widen the gap between how we want people to feel around us and how they're actually feeling around us.
100%. And, you know, I think that's one of the most common blind spots in leadership. People don't even mm-hmm. realize that they've tagged leadership to a title versus being who, right? The yeah. What. I'm a boss. I'm the leader. What I say goes, you know, I'm always right, to that type of thing. And you learn a lot that type of leadership is not actual leadership. That is ego talking. That is, you know, your pride kicking in. And then that expectation that everyone should bow before your knowledge and skill and capacity becomes a hindrance. Yes. So that impact goes left real quick, because the only impact you're doing is the one that they're not buying into what you're selling.
Yeah,
And,
because
you
he
know,
almost walked
right?
out because he didn't buy into my knowledge. He didn't bow down to my knowledge.
She didn't, he wasn't buying into it. Yep, no.
He wouldn't buy in.
And I know Mr. Morrison, no, that's not happening. Not happening. Oh no, it's not. It's one of the things that you said, and when we talk about marriage, I'm a firm believer that everything we do affects another part of our life. Who we are is the foundation for everything, right? Whether it's yourself, whether it's your parenting, your relationship, your career, your home, your finances, your spirituality, your friendships, your business, whatever it is, losing the ability to lead yourself
Mhm.
speaks to what you just talked about, the impact on others. Self-led
Yeah.
is just as powerful as leading, right?
Yes.
Self-led is where we start to recognize what we're good at, where we stand, and what message, what platform am I creating, and messages am I sending to the people around me, whether it's your kids, your significant other, your friends, whatever the case is, right?
It's huge. And it's like, every time when I work with leaders in organizations or when we do like, modules or segments, there's
Hmm.
usually like 3 modules and everyone comes into it and they're like, I already know what I have to do. I got to delegate more. I got to navigate conversations better. I got to figure out a way to everyone knows what to do, but we force them into the first module, which is about leading self. Because
Right.
if you can't lead yourself, if you don't understand what beliefs, patterns, personality traits, emotions exist within you that cause you to show up in delegation, strategy, presence, leadership in a certain way, then what point is there me
Hmm.
telling you how to delegate because you haven't addressed yet what is getting in the way of doing that. And that's why leading this is, and I love that you said like leadership is usually tied to a title. You do not have to lead anybody. I'm a
That's it.
solo entrepreneur. I will be very clear on this. No one directly reports to me, but I am every bit as much of a leader today as I am when I had 100 people reporting to
Say
me.
it. Exactly. Exactly. And it's because of that is why you are as successful as you are,
Yeah,
right? Like, let's be real. We both left corporate jobs. We
yeah,
both left high ranking positions, six-figure,
yeah,
incomes. We walked away. We led ourselves out of that because
yeah.
we determined that we had enough knowledge, skill, and capacity to do this on our own. And
Hmm.
so when we talk about self-led, look in the mirror. Can you lead yourself? If there is something in your life not working, can you get that fixed? Because that's the transferable skill I'm talking about.
Yeah,
The way we lead ourselves helps us to lead others. And when you step into a leadership role, my father said it best: the higher you go, the more you serve. And a lot of leaders, young, immature leaders, feel the higher they go, the more others serve them. And that's not necessarily true,
yeah.
right? Because at the end of the day, you have to provide that safe space. You have to provide the knowledge and the direction and the guidance. You have to deal with 5 people being sick, mental situations at home that are happening. Kids are running rampant. Your finances are going left. They bring all this stuff to work and they lay it on your desk because they can't perform because of it. So, what do you spend
Yeah.
most of your time doing in leadership? You're helping others and guiding them through to teach them how to be more self-led so that you can get the productivity you need out of them in the workplace, right? Or in your business if you're an owner type thing.
And that's a key identity a lot of people don't understand is that again going from because again people get promoted often because they're really good at doing what they do, and then when they transition to leadership
Right.
and it's like your value is no longer in that doing, your value is in finding ways to
Oh,
empower others to rise up to that level. But the thing that I run into with leaders, one of the biggest blind spots I have with leaders, when you ask them like, "What's a definition of a good leader?" They will say a lot of time. One of the popular responses is someone who leads by example. Now,
mhm.
good answer, but what do they mean by someone who leads by example? Someone who's willing to roll up their sleeves, who's willing to get in there, who's willing to do the work, who's willing to stay up late nights, who's going to be first in the building, the last to leave. That's what they mean by lead by example. But again, that keeps them in that identity of the doing of the work versus empowering. The example that they are not, leading by are some of the behavioral attributes that they want to see from their teams. So you say you want a team, you want your team to you want to create a team with a culture of trust. You want people to trust each other, but yet you just finished telling me you have trust issues and I don't trust anybody, right?
Let me go out there and teach that bad boy.
I don't trust nobody. You want to create a culture of accountability where people don't come to you with problems, but they come to you with solutions. Yet in every conversation, all you're doing is talking about are idiots and they don't know what they're doing and why are they doing this? You're constantly in a victim loop yourself. So that's what I mean by, and I have this with entrepreneurs as well. You know what I mean? Like there's so many, because I work with purpose-driven like founders and entrepreneurs, there are so many people who, when I ask them to describe their most ideal client, they talk about, they want to create spaces where people feel open to admitting their mistakes, where they're having the hard conversations, where they feel best to be their authentic selves. But they won't show up on camera unless their hair's done. You know what I mean?
Facts on that.
They won't show up on camera unless their hair is perfectly done. They won't show up messy themselves, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Or they want clients who are willing to pay the big ticket prices. They want to sell big ticket offers, but they won't invest money into themselves. So it's like you are creating this. This is why the leadership mirror is so important, is because leading by example doesn't mean you're getting in there and you're doing the work for other people. It means that you are modeling the behaviors, the beliefs, and the values that you want to see in others, and you are going first.
Yes.
You are going first as a leader. And people forget that part about leadership. It means going first.
Yeah. It's setting the platform for others to perform, right? You said something and I'm going to roll right on with that. You want high ticket prices, but you don't necessarily want to pay to get the actual right, you know what I mean? The right guidance to ensure that your offer makes sense. Like I've watched over and over again, people offering these big ticket prices. And then when I first got into doing full-time, I went to clarity calls. I wanted to see what people they're doing. That's part of understanding how to build a successful platform, is to understand who you're competing with. And some of the things that I was seeing, I turned to my girls and I'm like, what's going on out here in these streets?
Yeah.
Like, what are you telling me right now? You've been coaching for what? A hot year? How much hours do you have even under your belt to be telling me about $5,000? My girl.
Yeah. If you're going to pitch me
$32.99 a month, just go to work.
Literally, if you're going to pitch me a $5,000, if you're going to pitch me a $10,000 offer, what's a $10,000 investment you made in developing that offer? Whether that's in your expertise, your training, getting advice, getting consultation. What did you invest in that $10,000 offer in order for me to go and pay that $10,000?
To pay that $10,000, right? I say to my clients, I'm like, listen, I charge what I charge because I know what you need. You're the demographic I want to work with, right? But there are others that I charge what I charge because I know what they need, right? And so I don't come in here talking about my self-worth and, and all of this and, I'm worth $1 million. Of course, I'm fabulous, honey. I am worth $1 million. But that was to my mama and my husband and my kids, right? But in these streets, I got to give what is valuable to the person who's buying it. And I think that narrative that has been painted, I mean, there are narratives out there that I just don't even, I see people sitting on stage spewing leadership type advice, and some of them are just, it's ridiculous. Like, you don't need a plan, guys. You don't need a plan. You just need to feel it. You just need to go out there and do it, and everything is going to fall into place.
No one says that. No one says that.
They say it, and they say it with their chest. Okay.
You just
They are
gotta
saying
manifest it.
it. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now. Like, I cannot believe. I'm sorry. That's how I just literally, I'm like, and I'm watching people soak it in. And then when they
Yeah.
get to me and they're like, well, you know what, I was here and I just did it and did it. Well, you're broke, honey. Yeah,
But you
you're
got
broke.
queen energy. That's good.
You, you got queen energy. I'm going to
Sorry.
use that one. But
That
you
was a
got
jerk
queen
thing to say.
energy.
That was a jerk thing to say.
Oh, how is that paying your rent? Like, like I told my girls, listen, Miss J is coming out to play now. Like, I have lost all polish from just now. It's just like, let me just tell you the truth. Let's just be real here. You are leading yourself to an early grave. You are leading yourself to bankruptcy. You are leading yourself to a place where you will not be able to recover. And the problem with that is how many people are being impacted in that. And I'm
Mm,
talking your kids, your husband, your finances. These are the things that people get divorced on. It's
yeah.
because you're out here getting your big queen energy on, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I 100% think that this leadership topic is so needed. And when you give them the honest feedback about that, they're triggered.
Well, because it downplays the
Almost. I'm just.
and I'm not gonna lie, Josette, like I fell into this trap myself, even though I have led. But it downplays the gap between what it takes to go from individual contributor to CEO. Because when you, again, you're really good at what you do and you're like, I see a need, I'm really good at this, I'm gonna take my skills, I'm gonna leverage that. And I'm going to go to a talk and I'm going to listen to podcasts and I'm going to get that queen energy and I'm going to manifest and I'm just going to believe and I'm going to be
I'm gonna
good.
straighten
And
my crown.
straighten my crown. I'm moving, right? Okay.
Girl, shift your wig before you straighten the crown, honey.
But you left here at the leadership pipeline and you're trying to perform at the top of a leadership pipeline. The skills that you did not accumulate in making the move from individual contributor to team leader to director to functional leader to
Yep.
VP to
Yep.
EVP to CEO.
Yep.
That is a whole set of skill sets.
Whole set.
Emotional intelligence, navigating complexity, navigating ambiguity. You are no longer getting paid for what you do. You are getting paid for your vision, for your belief, for your
Yes, you're
instruction, for
getting
your
paired to take them where they want to go,
exactly.
right?
But you got skills and you got queen energy. So,
Oh, girl, and you had tragedy. You had trauma. Like, like trauma
don't
is
even
legit. You know, you know, you know. I'm gonna say it.
take me off the air
Trauma
now.
is legit. Trauma is legit.
Trauma is
I
legit.
Everyone is warranted. If you feel that way, you are warranted. I do not discount that, but you cannot use it to build an empire.
It's
You
not your business
cannot
plan.
it, just get the business plan, right? You cannot use it to build. You hear the stories. Everyone has a story. Yes, we all have one. But that person did not use that story and come out as a profitable business owner. They
Yeah.
had to do their business plan. They had to have a plan. Forget if they didn't want to call it a business plan, but they had to have a vision, a concept, an idea. They had to write it down. They had to go and put money to it. They had to invest in it. They had to be at it every single day. They had to show up and show out. They had to be committed, consistent, and be around the people who are going to help them drive it. So when you listen to people on these stages or in podcasts or wherever you're listening to these people, please listen to it with a grain of seasoning, not even
Mm,
salt, with seasoning, some good home seasoning, right?
yeah.
Like you got to be really careful that understanding leadership is not it's about, I like to say the essence of leadership is your drive.
Yeah.
It's your resilience. It's your innovation. It's your progression. It's your drip. Leadership is based on understanding how to take the boss, the business, the operations, the systems, and the strategies, and take the drip of who you are and take that to the next level through legit, strategic, critical analysis. These are words that are not fixing your crown, because a lot of people are wearing the one little diamond in the front of the crown, and when you go around to the back of the crown, nothing.
A comb over crowd.
That's gonna be my next hashtag, the comb over crowd, right? Like if you about to rock this on your head, you better
do a 360 for me. Do a 360.
It's full of good CZs, you know. Like just let's just stop. Let's just take a moment.
Well, because here's the thing. Here's what I will credit. I will credit Crown Energy in a sense of, again, if it gives, because belief is a lot. Because our actions are driven from what we believe. Now, what you believe and what you tell yourself are two very different things.
Break that down. Break that down.
Because you cannot choose your beliefs. You can't choose them. You have to practice them. So if you're going to tell yourself, I have queen energy, then you have to practice. What does queen energy mean today? How am I going to operate my business today as someone who has queen energy? And I have this all the time because there are so many people, and Jay, you know this, so many people who come into coaching conversations who have exhausted the podcast, who have exhausted the talks, who have exhausted the books. And they're like, I know all the things. I know I should have queen energy. I know I should believe in myself. I know that I should fix my crown, but it's not driving any action. And that's why I say what you tell yourself and what you believe are two very different things. And that's why this mirror is such an important piece of it, because, and this is why coaching is such an important tool, because it helps you to close the gap in that dissonance between what you know you should do, what you know you should believe, and how you're actually showing up. Because how you're actually showing up doesn't make sense. You got all this queen energy, but you're not doing shit. Right? But you're giving, but you're doing your affirmations.
And you're telling others to have the queen energy.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I know what you're going through. You know, guys, I'm here to fix your crown. I'm here. No, you're not.
But you're doing affirmations in the morning. So you're done? You have to finish. Have to put those things into practice. You have to put those things into action. So if, like, this is why I actually really do love the drip, because, and I thought about this too as you were talking, it's like, okay, if queen energy, and I'm sorry that I'm picking on queen energy. I don't mean to.
No, it's okay.
I do mean to pick on queen energy. It has its merit, but it is D. Yes. It is the first letter in the equation. It is not the business plan. So the resilience piece of it, though, is that the difference between the D and the R is the courage to take action over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
Every single day, in alignment with that drive, in alignment with that queen energy, and have so many of those things not pan out, not work out, and still get up and be like, still a queen, keep going. Like, that is the resilience part. And as a leader, the resilience part comes from being able to hold to accept that, hold space for two things to be true simultaneously. That's where resilience comes from, because it is true that I am leading a purpose-based business. I'll talk for me for a second. It is true that I am living my dream job right now. I am my own boss. I am driving a purpose-based business that is successful. And it is true that I hate it sometimes and I want to go find a full-time job because this hustle is hard. Both things can be true. As a leader, it is true that people are looking to me for the answers. And it is true that that it is my job to help them, to help mine for the answers that are within the room. Both things can be true. But when we solidify ourselves on only one truth, based on that drive, this is where our resilience, our self-doubt, take a plummet.
100%. Think the Titanic. They thought they were unstoppable until a
Yeah.
piece of ice stopped them. It is
Yeah.
true. They were unstoppable. But it is true.
And what
Ice
else?
formed after how many hundreds of years is pretty that dangerous, right?
And
And
what else?
you're hitting it. I think that's what it is. It's the truth they choose.
Hmm.
It's the truth they choose. It's the one that feels better. It's the one
Hmm.
that gives you this false sense of hope, or this false sense of achievement or drive, resilience, innovation. People say, "Oh, I'm so resilient. I'm so resilient." Okay, well, you didn't make sales this week. Oh, they said no to me, and now I'm running away. Well, you're not resilient. Like over here, you were just tooting that you're the strength of a woman and you're quoting Bible. And then over here, someone says no to your product, and now you're all of a sudden you're, I don't know if I don't
It's
like to
that
hear
dissonance
no.
between what you
It's
tell yourself and what you
what you
really
believe.
believe.
That's what it boils down to, right? And so when we talk about that leadership work, if you notice, and I hope for those who are listening, and let me just, I hadn't done my shout out for the Love Bay. Welcome if you're coming in for Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. We're here with Laura Morrison. We are just so deep into this. I totally forgot that we were even on a show at one point. But we are deep in this. We're talking about Leadership Mirror. We had a 3-part trilogy, and Lauren has been breaking down. Ooh, yes, honey, breaking down these gems and letting us know where we at. The conversation we're having right now is not just about leadership and leading a team, but most of it is about this self-leadership piece and understanding how the mirror plays into this. We want you to take a minute to stop and really look at yourself, who you are, right? What I do day to day, and I've done it for now 35 years, is strengthen who people are so they can be better at what they do. Why? Because that's the root. You are the root. So no matter with all this queen energy that you're talking about, it sounds great. But it also sounds great when I talk about putting on a 2-piece and tanning my stomach. The truth, and then there's the truth. That's never gonna happen. Right? For me, it's not gonna happen until I have where I need to be where I need to be. But that's what we're talking about. Leadership is not a perception, it's a reality. And people take leadership as a perception. I'm a boss. Okay.
Oh,
Of
oh.
what? Of what? What are you bossing? What are you? I'm a queen. Okay. I heard somewhere where a man said, "Women, you are using the word queen all wrong,"
Mm.
and he broke down the science. And the simplest one to me was, a queen typically has a kingdom of
Oof.
people they care for.
Yeah.
So if you're going to call yourself queen, who are you ruling? And
Mm.
that was, to me, simplicity at its finest. When we
Hmm.
talk about it, we have to understand that it's still a role. The queen is still a role. It's a what. It's not who. It's a what, right?
Mm.
I could be an empress. I could be a jokester or a jouster or whatever they used to call them back in the day, or you
Esther.
know, jester. That's it. Where did I get jouster from, anyways? But I could be a jester. I could be this. I could be that. But you hear how much things I can be. But I'm still me on the inside. No matter what role I'm playing, I still have to know who I am here, right? And so if you do want to be a queen, then the focus has to be on figuring out who you are. What type of queen do you want to be?
Can I can I provide a tool that I think is such a powerful mirror tool? It's a hard mirror to look into though. But it is that dissonance between what I think I am and what's actually showing up.
That's
What
it.
I want to be committed to, I want to be committed to queen energy, right? Like I want to be committed to ruling an empire. I want to be committed to whatever. But here's what's showing up. So there is this process called figuring out someone's hidden competing commitment. And I use this in coaching a lot. And it came from this book called Immunity to Change. Don't ask me who the author is. I will never remember. But it was a book called Immunity to Change. And it basically talks about how people talk a lot of talk, but why is it that so few people actually do the work? Why is it that so few people actually change their behavior? And the reason is because people have an external commitment, the thing that they say they want to be doing, but then they have a hidden competing commitment, something that is internal within them that they don't speak out loud. They probably don't even really even know it's there, but it's it's guiding their decisions, and it's ruling their actions as well as their inactions without their knowledge. So the way to figure this out, you ask someone, what is it that you want to do? Got queen energy. What is the kingdom you're trying to build? And they tell you, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do X, Y, Z. Okay. Now, if you were going to execute that plan, what steps would you take? 9 times out of 10, people can tell you what steps they're going to take. They're like, I got to show up on, let's just say, for example, I got to put out social media content. Right. I got to create a business plan. I got to, reach out to family, friends to get investment opportunities. I got to start putting myself out there, going to marketing events. People know the steps to get to where they want to go. At least they know.
Do they know? I want to jump in right there. I don't think people know the steps. I think people have heard of the steps, and I'm just talking about it.
But I think they don't know. Let's just take no, because what you don't know, you can Google, you can ChatGPT now.
Yeah, you can. But that's my point. I think a lot of people miss the no. They hear. When they say there's people who listen and then there's people who hear. When you're listening, that means you're absorbing and you're understanding what you need to do in order to be more comprehensive. When you hear it, now, and let's be real, people pick up their phones and do this, and they're scrolling so fast that they see a play, and then they say, I know. Do you though?
But that's exactly my point, though. Okay. That's exactly the point. Is that even if, let's just say at the end of the day, no one really knows anything, because there's so many different variables that even if I were to say to you, I want to lose 10 pounds, right? If I were to say to you, I want to lose 10 pounds, and you ask me, okay, well, how would you go and do that? I'll give you the steps that I think I need to do to lose 10 pounds. But do those steps universally work for everybody? No.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But I could probably tell you, if I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds. If I want to lose 10 pounds, I got to cut out sugar. I got to do intermittent fasting. I got to work out every day. These are the 5 things that I would do. Let's just say that this is what I think I would need to do in order to achieve that goal. I haven't done them yet, so I don't know for sure that this is going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
But these are the things that I think I need to do.
Yes.
But my point is that there's a starting place.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
I can lay out the steps.
Thank you for that, queen energy.
Whether I know they're going to, you're welcome.
I got to stop.
Now, the question is, all right, so you know where you got to start. You know the steps that you got to take towards that. What are you doing instead?
Yes.
Right? Well, I'm drinking wine every night. I'm drinking wine every night. I'm sleeping in. I'm skipping the gym. I'm binge watching TV, whatever the case is, right? Or when it comes to a business, I'm not putting myself out there on social media. I keep procrastinating on my business plan. I'm, spending more, I'm doom scrolling on Instagram in the times that I block for myself to actually focus on work.
Yep.
And so you're like, okay, well, based on those actions, what are you really committed to?
Mm-hmm.
And when you speak that actual commitment, it's usually committed to furthering other people's dreams, not my own. Committed to protecting my own comfort. I'm committed to protecting myself from rejection. I'm committed to not learning that I'm not good enough for my dream.
Yeah.
For my vision. And once you speak the thing that you're actually committed to, now the things that you're doing make a lot more sense.
Yes.
Because if I was committed to furthering other people's goals instead of my own, I would be saying yes to everyone else's priorities. I would be dropping whatever I got going on in order to go and help put out someone else's fire. It makes sense. It lines up with my commitment. You get to decide, is that what you still want to be committed to? And if you want to rewrite that commitment, what would you rewrite it to? Now, I say this because that's the mirror. That's the mirror that says, yeah, this is what you say, but this is what you actually, this is how you actually show up. This is what you actually believe. And now that you see this, you can decide how you want to rewrite that commitment. Because the power of a hidden competing commitment is that it's hidden, which means you don't see it, so you don't notice that it's sabotaging you. But once you can see it, it takes away so much power.
And that's I 100% agree with that. And I'm going to add to this by saying, if you can step, let me put it this way. I used to tell people journaling is one of the most powerful tools to me on the planet, period. Why? Because it's a tool that can be subjective and objective all in the same mode. When we write, we're writing subjectively. I feel and I can't believe and blah, 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 we're but not many people go back and read what they wrote. It's just an ongoing, subjective pinpoint. But if you can go back and see what you wrote, you will get to that hidden competing agenda.
Competing commitment
will pop out for you, right? Because what,
or even to see, like, I wrote it. How do I feel about it? I don't like that I wrote that. I don't like that I said that. I don't like that that's in there.
And that's where, to me, people misrepresent the word queen. A queen has to be stronger to shoulder all of her subjects' needs. A queen has to be driven. They can't lay in bed all day and talk about life is lifing. No, they got to get up and go and take care of their kingdom, right? The queen has to be resilient. People trying to come and take her kingdom, wars, this, that, and the other. You got to be out here, help supporting the king or doing whatever, strategically fighting. Like, I'm making it just kind of clean cut. It could be in all different ways, whether you want to take it from the motherland or want to take it from the British world, whatever. At the end of the day, it's a servitude, right? So if you're going to take that energy, you have to understand that you're serving the people that you had the idea for, right? When you talk about that place about people pleasing and commitments and all of those things, the question you have to really ask yourself is, when someone tells me this is what's happening, I need to choose to believe, or I could excuse it with all my rationale, right? I'll tell them straight, like, what you're doing is not going to help you get where you're trying to go. There is a string of reasons why, and they're all so quote unquote valid. When you start to understand, when you put that mirror up to yourself, you have to believe what the mirror is saying to you. Like, if you do not, then it makes no sense putting money anywhere in anything, right? Put your coins in the bank and wait for retirement. Because if you're going to step out into the world of business, you better recognize the fact that your pivot has to be real. If you see it, if it has been said, if it has been recognized, if you become aware, it's on you to take action to make that happen, the change happen, right? So I agree 1000% when you said, do I want to commit to that? That's a clutch question. And I'm going to.
But it's a choice.
Yeah.
Because really and truly, it's even that statement of, it's not going to get you where you want to go. But you don't have to change that. You don't have to change anything. That's the thing. You don't got to change a thing. I had a coaching session with the girl today too, and she was, talking about leaving her job and all this kind of stuff. And then she's like, yeah, but I just love my team and this and this, and it's probably just me. And I was just like, no, it's everybody, but you can stay with your team. You can stay with your team. You don't have to move. You don't have to leave your job. No one's kicking you out. But don't fool yourself into believing that what is comfortable is what is easy. Because especially when you came in here talking about how hard it is to be underpaid, to not have opportunities for growth, right? To be invested in a subject matter that doesn't interest you or drain you, and how it is to be like unsatisfied. But yet when we talk about the next step, when we talk about change, yeah, but my team's so cool. Cool, stay with your team. then you're not committed to financial stability, then you're not committed to emotional fulfillment. What you are committed to
Nope.
is camaraderie with these seven
Yep.
people. And that's
That's it.
cool. You can be, but are
You
you
can.
okay? Are when you
Yeah.
hear that back, when I put that mirror up to you and I say, this is
Yep.
what you're committed to, do you like what you see? Are you good with
Mhm.
what you see?
I say that in relationships all the time. If you're good with your man cheating on you, then I am happy for you. If
Yeah,
you want to stay in the relationship, stop complaining. Like
yeah.
if this is what they're doing and you don't want to make a change and you say to me, I'm good where I am, girl, let's celebrate. I'm there for you 1,000%.
There's
Right?
no right
No
or
one's
wrong.
forcing you.
Am I, there's no right or
no
wrong.
one, no one's telling you gotta go.
Am
But if
I
you don't like what
experiencing
you
the
see,
results that I like?
but if you don't like what you see, then you gotta make a change. Oh my God, Elle, robust conversation. New Year's coming. Yeah, we gotta have her back because let me tell you, these are just the real talks I love having. The real talks are real women, right? I keep telling people, don't be out there calling yourself a queen because you misrepresent me all wrong in these streets,
Watch your comb over crowd.
right?
We're
Comb
in the
over crown. I love it.
360.
So if you're looking for your comb over crown, check our site. But on a serious note, please check out oh where did she go? Okay. Well, oh, let me put this back up. I don't know if you can get it. There you are. Make sure you are following. Oh, I just took myself off the screen. Make sure you are following Coach Lauren Morrison. Just go to her IG, Coach Lauren Morrison. I would beintheroomcoaching.com. Check out the website. I kid you not, you need to be getting into the rooms with the right people if you want to look in the mirror and see what you like to see. Lauren, I love you. I will see you soon. I'm going to close out, but man, I wish we could go for another hour. There's just so much juice that we need to talk about, but there will be more time because there will be another show. So I'll see
I
you
know
in a
what I'm
bit.
getting for Christmas, though.
They're going to get a comb over crowd coming to you.
Jewel's missing, but it's cool.
The stone, it will be real, like a
It's
real
fine.
stone. That's
It's
it from the
fine.
ground. A real stone.
All right, my love.
All right, y'all. So I'm excited to share that I'm going to be a special guest at Replenish, a day for art and wellness. That's going to be an experience that's created for overstimulated women who need a real reset. That's being hosted none other by Mindful Mommies, Miss Anisha Hines. So if you're entering into 2026, you're wanting healthier habits, deeper clarity, more joy, all that great stuff. You want to recharge and connect with yourself. This space is for you. So check that out. I will put that on my page. If you're elevating your brand, if you are ready to make this happen, if you are looking to not have the cost of silence, know how to get the experience and to bring the leadership, then this is the spot that you want to be each and every week right here in Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio with your girl, Miss J. This has been our part 3 of Be in the Room series. Make sure you get her book. I know we talked about it. Again, I will place up in my stories. I will tag Love Bay so you can see it there as well, where you can pick up Lauren's book, Be in the Room. Okay? Because let me tell you, people, everybody wants to be at the table. And that's totally fine, but you have to ask yourself, what do you bring to the table? Are you worth having a chair? You've been listening to Business Weekly right here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. Let's build something legendary. And as always, wings up and let's fly. I'm Miss J, and I'll see you in the new year because it's going to be my last live show until the new year. So have a very happy holiday. Be safe. Take some downtime because 2026 is coming and we got more skies to fill.